Hey everybody, and welcome back to Super Comic Fun Time. Today we're going to talk about the books I picked up this past Thursday after New Comic Book Day. So I'm going to, there will be spoilers because I'm going to talk about the ones that I've read. I've read everything except for Doomsday Clock. I should say I've read everything that I bought except for Doomsday Clock number 7. I started to read this after I started reading The Dreaming, which is, I think, the second Sandman universe book. And The Dreaming was kind of weird. It was almost like a drug. So I started reading this, and I just decided, you know, the last issue was so good that I am going to give this my full attention when I'm not stoned off of Neil Gaiman. So then that brings us to The Dreaming, which is the last one I read. Now, okay, spoilers for this book. It's kind of weird. I liked it. I liked the weirdness for the most part. I will say that it doesn't really have a story. I think they did a very good job. The art is beautiful. I really love the art in this one. Let's see here. So yeah, I played with my camera a little bit so it doesn't follow me around quite so much. It will still follow me. But so what's happening is after the first issue of the Sandman universe, the new Neil Gaiman imprint of DC Comics, so yeah, like the Sandman is missing and weird stuff is happening in the dreaming world. And so we have Lucian. Lucian is probably my favorite character in this. Here you have Kane and Abel, but they really aren't in this one all that much. This girl here with the wings coming out of her head, she's annoying. She's like when I was thinking about it, I was like, what did I like about it? Because she's like, has a major part of the story, but she's a completely unlikable, ungrateful person. And so I didn't like her. I did like Lucian, who's also the narrator. Now, I don't know anything. Like I think I've said before, the only Sandman I've read is the first volume, which a lot of people say isn't the best volume, but I enjoyed it immensely. But I just don't know all of the lore involved with it. But Lucian is a narrator, and he is he the protege of the Sandman, the Dream King. And like he's kind of narrating by looking into the helmet of the Dream King, which is just like so many religious figures. He has three, like I want to say stigmata, but that's not correct. 3 stigmata of Palmer Aldridge is a Philip K. Dick story, and his 3 stigmata was false teeth, false hands, and false eyes. So in this case, Lucian, like I can't remember all of this Sandman because it's been like over a year since I read volume 1, but volume 1 of the Sandman was concerned with him getting his artifacts back. And so like one of the things he needed was this dream helmet, and that's what Lucian is telling the story through the dream helmet. So yeah, overall this was pretty good. There were some things like, well, first of all, like I say, they do a really good job. There isn't much of a story. This unlikable girl with wings for ears. She's got the most cogent story, but the most interesting stuff is the stuff that doesn't make sense. So like, you know, this is an adult rated, a mature reader's comic book. So like, you know, the first thing you see is the word shit is used. They go, is that going to be the extent of it? But no, she goes to, again, I said spoilers. So she goes to Hades and has sex with this demon thing, which is a kind of a bear. And yeah, and like I guess they're connected. Anyways, because the Sandman is gone, that guy breaks into the dream world, and then like it gets annoying near the end because they just can't help themselves. They have to kind of break their story by inserting their politics. And so, yeah, who are the people who did this? Simon Spurrier, Bilquis Evely, and Matt Lopez are the 3 people credited on the cover. And so, like, you know, this demon breaks into the dream world, and somebody like Eve, I guess Eve from the Bible, confronts him, and that was kind of interesting. but then like this demon duke, whatever he is from Hades, he's like to Eve, don't stand against me, Ashera. Once before, I guess that's Eve's other name, I don't know. Once before you accepted the wisdom of the serpents, treat with us again and you shall reign. And she goes, actually, I often felt that story was a little biased. So like right there, that's taking, but they have to virtue signal. That's just what they've got to do. They don't care what they destroy. This story was really great up until that point. You know, except for the annoying girl. And even she's okay, because that's just her character. Not every character has to be likable. But then Lucian comes in and saves the day because he masquerades as a Sandman. And so like the demon just retreats in fear. So I thought that was kind of cool. And yeah, also like the dream world is being invaded by these kind of like mannequin type things. They're kind of considered blanks at first. And so the annoying girl has one of them that she's using as a servant, but near the end they request sanctuary. And so like, yeah, Lucian is like, yeah, walls don't work. So there's like that sort of stuff in here. But for the most part, it was a good story. It was very dreamlike for the most part. So yeah, like right here, you have all of these blanks, which I don't even know what they're saying with this. What are they saying? Like these blank people are immigrants from some other realm, but they're blanks, and so they just put them into pens, and they look like mannequins and stuff. And you know, I've actually read about these things. Like, you know, I read a lot of spiritual stuff, like and occult stuff. And so like I've actually read about these things. I wish I could remember the name of the book. I just kind of remember they turn up around sexual energy and kind of feed off of it. But in this case, they're just kind of blanks, except for until they say sanctuary, and then like supposedly there'll be a story from there. So like hopefully they can contain themselves, you know, like, you know, can we just stipulate virtue signaling? You know, and then you don't have to like, you don't have to stamp it out. You don't have to put it like, well, you know, we'll stipulate your virtue signaling creds, and then you can just tell a good story. Because other than those, I kind of counted 3 points that were kind of annoying and took me out of the story. But otherwise, this was a very good book. I mean, Annoying Girl didn't take me out of the story. She was just annoying, but that's her character, so that's fine. It's good to have a character you don't like from time to time, and hopefully, like, my opinion of her changes because she'll have a story arc, I assume. Anyways, yeah, she's also kind of like a Rey from Star Wars. She has this magical ability to like move between realms, but she's less of a blank slate than Rey, and she's more annoying if that's possible. I mean, you know, Rey is just annoying because, well, you know, but anyways, the artwork is beautiful and the story is pretty good, minus a couple of ham-fisted, gotta tell you what we believe kind of stuff. Next, I think this is my favorite one of the week. This is Justice League Odyssey. Again, spoilers. So yeah, essentially, like it's hard to like talk about any of this without spoiling. So I think this comes out of like it comes out of one of the events I didn't read. And so I can't say too much about this, but the artwork was beautiful, and like you know, you got this Green Lantern, and the first few pages are a little meandering, but the artwork was really good. So like it starts off with these characters because the old gods have returned, and it's a little confusing because of how it ends, but this woman is a Green Lantern, and so she goes off to try to contact him, but when the old gods return, her ring stops working, and so that's where we kind of leave her story, and then we come to this Green Lantern, who I'm not all that familiar with, and so she's volunteered to patrol through space, but she's bored, and so yeah, like here's the thing that took me out of the story here. Like I guess this green guy is her former partner, and like when he shows up, she goes, Baz, and he goes, it's been too long, girl. How are you doing? And it's just, to me, is that what people talk like in space? I don't know. It just seemed like a little bit too much earthly vernacular. And that took me out of the story a little bit. But then, like the next page, it like brought me back because I mean the artwork in this is fantastic. And then like from that point on, you know, you've got what's her name, Coriander, Starfire, and you've got Cyborg, and you've got Azrael, and they've absconded Justice League headquarters with Brainiac's ship, and they're heading into the Phantom Zone or whatever they call it in this book. And so the Green Lantern goes, you can't go in there, and she goes chases after him, but there's like all this radiation that's going to burn her up, so Starfire has to go out and rescue her. Here we have like what's his name, Azrael, and I'm not sure when he came back. It seems like he might have come back for the, was it the White Knight? I don't know what I didn't read that one. I probably will someday, but like right now I'm so far behind that I'm wanting to give up reading current comics to catch up, but some of these are really good. And this is like, this was a really good story. So like they go into the Phantom Zone, they fight these monsters. The artwork is just spectacular in this book. I loved like just about every moment of the artwork. Okay, see, like I put you on, I'm gonna put you on timeout, puppy. So now we lost focus. Let's just, okay, so here. So yeah, there, like here you have these monsters kind of in space. I'm not sure what they are, but yeah, you get the oath. I think you get the oath twice. You might only get it once. Oh yeah, you almost get it twice. It's like that first woman as she's fleeing her planet, and she calls the oath, and then she gets attacked by a monster and presumably killed. And so what it turns out, again, I said spoilers, so you should have left by now. I love this. It's like Darkseid is like kind of talking to Cyborg, Starfire, and Azrael, and he's bringing them to this place. And you know, he looks a little bit like a serpent or like a cobra or something. But that aside, you know, kind of like, I guess, the G.I. Joe character. I'm not sure exactly because I never was really into G.I. Joe, but I just love that his reveal. Yeah, this is a great book for the art. And then, yeah, it just turns out that the old gods are our three main characters: the Green Lantern, Cyborg, and Azrael. But yeah, and then look, I guess Grant Morrison is going to be doing a Green Lantern book, so I might start getting Green Lantern. Right now, oh yeah, this is like yeah, in the back of a lot of books this week is this Green Lantern preview, which I don't read these because I'm going to get the book or I'm not. Like I don't care about the Teen Titans, which might be sacrilege to some people, but I just don't care about them. And like a few months ago, they were pushing this Green Lantern story. I mean, Titan story, but Green Lantern is a more interesting character to me, so I might check this out, especially if Grant Morrison's writing it. And this artwork looks pretty spectacular too. So, so yeah, I guess that's beginning in November. Yeah, and that was pretty much the end of that book. Yeah, this was good too. I'm definitely going to continue with this one. Now, the big title of the week, a lot of people like it. I got the variant cover for this one. I kind of like it. Spoilers: the death of Superman isn't inside this book. And I don't know if this is referring back to the death of Superman from the 90s, or this is like pertaining to this story, which, again, spoilers, like the artwork for this is really good. And who's the art? I should tell you I guess I should tell you the creators. Okay. Like for me, art and story is good, but it's the characters that draw me in. So they're the stars. And I realize that human beings work on it, but if they do a really good job, you don't know that a human being worked on it. That's my opinion. So Joshua Williamson wrote this one. I can't read this name. St. Jeffin Sejic is the artist and cover. DeBron Bennett is the letters. And so did I get the variant on this one? Yeah, I got the variant. So the cover for my edition is Terry and Rachel Dotson. So yeah, again, Odyssey is my favorite book of this week that I've read so far. I haven't read Doomsday Clock yet. I'm hoping I'll like that, since I think it really, like I was saying in previous videos about Doomsday Clock, is like, I don't know why this needs to exist. It's beautiful. It's an A1 book, but do I need it? And the last issue dealt with the marionette and the mime, and it was really good. It was like the best one yet. I don't know what this one is about yet. So anyways, this book, it starts with some diner, Greasy Spoon in Nebraska, and you have Booster Gold there, and Harley Quinn is at the door. And then you spend all this time eating pie. I don't know if that's an Ethan Van Sciver reference or not, but it could be. So yeah, you have Harley Quinn here, and I did like this. This was probably my favorite part of this book. It just made me laugh. I'm Harley Quinn, and I don't believe in trauma. Oh, I know it's a thing that everyone thinks is real. Listen, I've spent years of my life listening to these people. Oh me, oh my, oh mommy, my daddy. But truth is, Puddin', I shouldn't have been listening. I should have been beating them with a sledgehammer. Bang, 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 bang. And then she's like, you know, it kind of goes off like, as she says this, she kind of starts showing remorse and crying. But then, like, you know, here she gets the pie, which again, I don't know if it's an Ethan Van Sciver reference or not, but I can't separate in my mind anymore Ethan Van Sciver from pie. But then she eats her pie. Again, every page of this is beautiful. But I think like what makes Odyssey better is every page was beautiful, and I like the story better. So yeah, and this one is broken up a little bit because it's like a prelude almost. I mean, it's a prelude. So like, you know, what happens? She's eating the pie. Then we like come to this field where these crows are eating, I don't know, piece of meat of some kind. And then you get this guy here, and he's like some guy. I don't know if this is an ED joke, but his name is Blue Jay. I don't know who that is. And like he is able to shrink and grow, and then but he's kind of lost control. It's like the most impressive, the most fun dialogue in the book is what I read you was Harley Quinn. And then like this guy, like when he goes to sleep, sometimes he wakes up small. And so I think it's some sort of ED reference. And yeah, I don't know who Blue Jay is, so I didn't really care. And then we come back here, and I just love, this might be my favorite frame in the book, with like Harley with the fork in her mouth. I mean, it's just a beautiful shot. I mean, like all the artwork in this book is beautiful, but something about this frame really, really, it's just so beautiful. So she finishes the pie, and then she decides to try to kill Booster Gold. I'm not sure why. So anyways, then you have pages and pages of a fight with Booster Gold, and then you have Batman. You have the Trinity, the DC Trinity, coming in because they're investigating some deaths, and then you have more panels of characters you don't know who they are. Like this guy's Hotspot is like, I'm Hotspot, and I have a catchphrase. I'm just warming up. And then it's like he just sits there looking smug, and he goes, it's good, right? Because like, you know, we get it. He's like, all of these people have like these inner doubts and stuff like that. So that's what this book seems to be about, is inner doubts. And so like, so then like, you know, you just have his, then you have Superman finding his body. And then you have, we go back to the fight between Booster and Harley. And then we go into the house. This is like kind of like a halfway house or something for superheroes that's with problems. Like all these people, like they're, you know, they're coming in, and then we have this, like, you know, the opening shot. We had did I show you that? Here's like yeah, the opening shot is in the thing, but then like on the very next page, you just have all of this farmland stretching out, America, you know, the heartland. what was it? Sergeant Pepper's, the movie Sergeant Pepper's. So yeah, anyways, like you got all this stuff going on. You have all these dead superheroes for some reason, and you're not going to learn about it in this issue. Spoiler alert. And so then, like, the very last panel is Booster Gold was in this Big Brother house too. And like, you know, his is like, I'm Booster Gold and I'm the greatest hero you never heard of. And you are Sanctuary. So this Sanctuary is a kind of AI program that's supposed to help troubled superheroes. This, you know, I don't know what to say about it. A lot of people love it. I think the artwork is fantastic on here, but the story is a little lacking. And then let's go to my other favorite of the week. Flash 55 came out this week too. This, you know, Flash is just good comfort food. It's, you know, after the Flash War, like, I had some issues where like Iris was, you know, like in the Flash War, you had all three Flashes, Flash, Kid Flash, and I don't know what the other Wally is calling himself, but you know, you had the three Flashes, and then they ended up breaking the Speed Force to release these other forces. So here, this is a Halloween issue. The thing about this is like, it opens with him fighting. Oh, you know what? I'm missing one that I got. I also got Justice League Dark, which was also excellent. So anyways, I read this one first, and Justice League Dark is in here, and they're fighting Solomon Grundy, and I'm like, oh, should I be reading this first? And I, you know, as soon as I turned the page, I like kind of looked. It's like, because like in some comics I remember reading, I think it was in Onslaught. You know, I have the omnibus of Onslaught, so it just tells you. I mean, everything is just in order in that, but it will say, if you haven't read issue 23 of X-Force, then stop what you're doing and read that first. So I go, should I be reading this? And then, you know, you just have this couple of pages where they're fighting with Solomon Grundy, and Flash neutralizes him, and then the Justice League Dark leaves. So so that was it. I was like so excited at first because it's like Justice League Dark, I'm reading that, and the Flash, those are two of my favorite books that I really enjoy. Like, you know, they might not be A++, but they're like a lot of fun books. And then like it just, they leave. And then when I read Justice League Dark, it didn't have anything to do with this story. So yeah, Justice League Dark, I don't know where that one is. Oh, that's a bummer. But anyways, I really enjoyed that story too, and that was the conclusion of their arc. So, so yeah. So anyways, like in this one, like we're dealing with what's this issue called? This issue is called Faster Than Thought, because we're dealing with the Sage Force here. So yeah, all this stuff with Justice League Dark really doesn't have anything except to be like kind of a prologue into this greater story. I don't know how many parts they're going to be to Faster Than Thought, but you know, I'm not complaining about it. It was interesting. I just like, you know, since this is the first book I read, it's like, and Justice League Dark is another one of my new favorites. It's like, should I read this one first? And then of course they're not connected, and that's fine. It just is like, you know, you just have that initial excitement where, oh my God, two of my favorite books are just like combining. And then I wondered if like Justice League Dark would be in everything I was reading this month, because maybe they're trying to push the book. And really, it's a really good book, so you should be reading that one if you're not. And so yeah, so then like, you know, a lot of ways, I think what's comfortable about this is like it just, the story repeats all the time. So like now Commander Cold from the future is working as a bartender because he needs money, and I get, you know, and like Barry is like, well, I let you use my apartment, and he goes, yeah, but with an empty refrigerator, and I need to eat. And so yeah, so then essentially what happens here is you have this fire starting rogue who I'm not really familiar with. He wasn't in any of the Jeff Johns Flash books I read. Like last year I read the Jeff Johns volumes that I got off of Comixology when they were on sale. And so they had like quite a few villains there, and you can like pick up a lot. You know, it starts off with Mirror Master in this sort of like alternate through the looking glass type universe, and so that was like a lot of fun. And this, I guess this, it really like it kind of goes, the only Flash I know is like what this is like. So I don't know if Flash is always like this, but yeah, this is a lot of fun. So anyways, this Firestarter guy, what was his name again? Mr. Rory, I forget, but the Sage Force comes for him, and it like just causes his power to like explode things, and then Barry has to go. And yeah, there isn't much to talk about here. Like I say, if you just want a good, comfortable story where you don't have to think too much, I would be reading The Flash. Yeah, I think I love stuff like Crisis and Damned and things that make you think. But sometimes I just want to have fun, and I would say Flash is a book I read to have fun. And I would say Justice League Dark is like that too. Like I say, that one picked up or ended its first story arc, which was only 3 stories, and I'm not sure where they're going from there. So hopefully they keep up the whatchamacallit. They're able to keep it up. And yeah, I don't really feel I have much to spoil here, except like we're dealing with another force. The artwork was pretty good. You have the prison guy. I mean, yeah, it's like a Flash story from the Jeff Johns era. Maybe it's like a Flash story from any era, because all I know other than this current era is this. And like, I do like that Iris and Barry have she's not like what was annoying me is like whenever the guys were around Iris, she became like their mom, and they all had to kind of defer to her. And then like and like when I was reading the Jeff Johns stuff from the early 2000s or whenever that was from, and I forget Wally West's wife's name, but they had a real relationship. It felt real, and they had their doubts and stuff, but they enjoyed each other's company, and yeah, so it just seemed like real. And then like now we're living in this fake age, and so like women are always right and they can never be wrong, and that was what was kind of annoying me about this run of the Flash until like an issue or 2 ago, when they kind of decided to make Iris a real human being. So congratulations to them. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here. What did you get this week? Oh, there's one that I didn't get. I put it on order. It's so confusing. It's like Cerebus is this aardvark character that I used to read when I was a kid. Like, I don't know how many issues I ever got. It's just as soon as I heard about there was this comic book about a Cerebus, about an aardvark, and his name was Cerebus, I had to get it. And so like, I read 10, 12 issues of that before I stopped collecting as a kid. And now they've got like, they're doing a parody of Crisis on Infinite Earth called Crisis on Infinite Cerebi. And so I put in an order for that. It looks like a lot of fun. I hope it is. And yeah, that's the only thing that came out this week that I didn't get. So hopefully I'll get it within the next 2 weeks. Okay, everybody. So thank you for watching. Please hit the thumbs up, and talk to you soon. Super Comic Fun Time out.